think it's bad. Me no know what them a talk about. When them say it's mad. When everywhere in the world have problem, everywhere need God. Tell them easy no man. Come you just think it's bad. Come take a look. More food to eat and cook. More places to see than you read in a book. If you're ready for a good time, let the good vibes steal your heart like a cook. But look, don't trouble or you'll get shook. Think it's sweet, you'll get hooked. Every other trip that you take won't compare to the Sankage trip that you took. Me no know about you, but me love think it's bad. Me no know what them a talk about. When them say it's mad. When everywhere in the world have problem, everywhere need God. Tell them easy no man. From you love think it's bad. So much good people to meet. Me hear the word on the street. Is everybody
Be logged in and turn to the internet. It's Friday, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. To some people, it will be thank God. For me, oh my word, how quickly has Friday come again? And that's how I felt this morning when I got up and realized it was Friday. Honestly, I was stuck on Monday, don't know why, but on Wednesday, don't know why, but I really thought that today was Wednesday. I suppose when you're living a good life, time doesn't move. People say time goes when you're having fun, but for me, when you're living the life and you don't care whether today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday, I suppose that doesn't matter. You're tuned to Your Views. Your Views is a program that is aired on WINN FM every Friday morning and hosted by me, Sandra Quilly-Attiton. It's a program where sometimes, like today, I'm going to open the lines. You can call in and you can share your views on what is happening around or be a part of a discussion about what we think and of general interest. Or you can, most of the time, I'll have me a guest and we will bring information to you. We try to make sure that our information is factual and our research is completely done, and so that people can be inspired, educated, and well informed. And that's one of the reasons, that's basically the major objective of the program. This morning, I want to say birthday greetings to everyone who would have celebrated birthday in February. It's the month of love. It's the shortest month of the year. It's the month with a difference. And again, it's Black History Month. So February is the month, it's the Aquarius, is for enlightened people. So if you're an Aquarian, you know that you're enlightened. It's the zodiac of enlightenment, and I suppose enlightened people were born in February. Yeah, I'm stuttering. Why? I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to gather my thoughts, but no, I don't normally do that. It's spontaneous. Yeah, it's Black History Month. We are going to open the lines and we're going to have this discussion, but first I'm going to introduce my thoughts and my opinion on Black History Month. I saw my little granddaughter decked out, beautiful African little princess. It was so pretty to see. And then the question came to my mind. We are celebrating Black History Month. How many of us know what we're really celebrating? What does Black History Month mean to you? To our kids who are decked out and who are celebrating the month, for people who have attained the age of 90 and still do not understand, for Black people, what is this Black History Month celebration is all about. We see it's Black people positioning themselves still, or are we waiting to be positioned? And those are the questions you ask. I am an ardent student of history. I've always wanted to know, not just about Black people, but about from whence we came as humans and to where we are going. Those are the things that you try to find out as an individual. And when you can find that out and you can find yourself and position yourself, then you can understand basically what every other celebration means and to why are we celebrating it. Why do we celebrate Black History Month? Is it the achievements of Black people? Why? Why isn't there White People History Month Why or Indian People History Month or Chinese History Month? Why do we celebrate Black History Month? We're living in a world where it's diverse. We live in a world where we have different groups of people. Ethnicity is you have Black, you have Caucasian, you have Asians, you have some people who are neither Black nor Caucasian, and you ask yourself the question, why are we as Black people singled out? Oh, it's about slavery, they said. Who sold us into slavery? Were we sold or were we given into slavery? These are the questions you ask, because it depends on the book that you read. The information is really complicated. And if we are always, as people, as humans, we always look for somebody to blame. But yet the question I ask, because I want to know why we are celebrating Black History Month, I'm asking the question, how did we as Black people ended up in slavery? The numbers you can call is 662-0989, 465-0989, or 466-0989 if you want to be a part of this discussion. And I know people would want to be a part of this discussion, but as Black people, I find that we're very gullible. We're always dictated to. But when you look at all of the achievements, life, making life easy and comfortable, Black people are always at the helm. When you talk about pain and suffering and bad treatment and opposed people, Black people are again at the top. So whenever it's good, we're there. Whenever it's bad, we are there. And up to now, we as Black people can't seem to position ourselves. You listen to the stories, and they're going to talk about Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, those people who went out and the legends who died as heroes, and yet still we're still fighting for a position for ourselves. We are fighting for reparation, thinking that we should be paid for the hardships that we would have suffered. And that is why I'm having this discussion. We as Black people, we were sold for simple little things. In my days of history, the book said it was handkerchief, gunpowder, and those simple things that our lives valued. That was our life's values. And that's how we got ourselves in a situation. Who benefited from what was given? The same thing, reparation. Who would benefit from the monies that you intend to collect? It's the questions we're going to ask. Why are we still waiting for people to position us? Why can't we find our place and our position in this world? We are all created equal. You have too many Christians and Bible readers recognizing, but again, the Bible condoned slavery, so because no man can serve two masters. Those are things that were in there, and we look at that as, oh yeah, and it's a fact. So God condoned it. He said it was okay, and so it was okay. And these are the things we never stop to find out, or why. We look at the situation that we find ourselves in after all that experience of seeing Black people being sold into slavery, the hardships that we went in, we were treated as less than the animals were, and yet still, look at what we're doing. Remember, history is not 1,000 years ago. Today we're making history. The things that I'm saying now become history. You know, the discussions that we are having today, that is history. So history is still in the making. History is not something that was made and would never make, and that was it. That's the end of it. So we have to be very careful of what we put in the books today. What our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren will read if they would find the books, or who would write the books, because that's what's happening. People write the books and they put information in there that they want us to know. So we'll never know the truth. But when we look at what we're doing today, where we can make a difference, we can't make a difference for what happened in those years, 400 years ago? We can't make a difference then. We can't contribute to anything then, but we can make the difference now. How? in St. Kitts. I'm not going around the world. I'm talking about in our little space. We are still selling out. Our own people are not given the same opportunity. We talk about equality and we're fighting for that. Why are we fighting for that in America? For Americans, let us start here. The Chinese are coming in and they're taking over. I saw a situation down at Spot Street, and every day, now I don't think about it every day, but every time I think about it, it sickens me to my stomach. A man went into a Chinese shop, supermarket, and he took up, without paying for, a Snicker bar, I think it was, and he came out the shop. And a local videotape the whole situation, stood there and did absolutely nothing. The Chinese came out and they beat the man to a pulp. You know why I'm upset? Because I've seen some things that these Chinese do, And this is not anybody telling me. I remember when I was the president of the Netball Association, and we asked them to donate. It was a fight to get them to donate something to us. So he said he would give us a box of corn. The box labeled corn. That's what he was going to donate. We were hosting, I think it was the under 23 netball tournament. So we were asking for donations, and they gave us a box that marked corn. When we went to make breakfast, took out the box with corn. When we opened it, it was a box with steak. So they were paying for corn on the invoice. Prices are going to be cheaper. And they had steak in the boxes. And you're going to telling me that they are stealing from our customs, from, our treasury. And a man went in and took up, and that's why I didn't say he stole. He took up, without paying for, a Snicker. And we watched the Chinese man beat the man to a pulp. And we did absolutely nothing. That was one case. There was another case, and there are cases where they come in here and they go into every country and they wreak havoc. And what do? Absolutely nothing. Why? Because the people who are supposed to be benefiting are benefiting. And us, the little black niggers, the Negroes, people who are waiting for hand-me-downs, just like in slavery, we tolerate and we have to accept the beatings, the embarrassments, the kicks. What is the difference between now and 400 years ago? And we are encouraging it. And that is why I do not like the hypocrisy of me having to dress up my granddaughter in African attire, going and talking about Black History Month. What does she know? She would read the same books that was written for us, for our own purpose. I'm not saying fight back. We can't fight back. But we need to stand up, position ourselves. Why are the Chinese given the opportunity? Every supermarket beside Rams, I'm going to call them Rams, Best Buy, and Value Mart. 3 supermarkets that we have. Owners, okay. Owners, okay. Okay, Best Buy is by Black people. Value Mart, okay. Rams, okay. But every mama and papa shop has been replaced by a Chinese shop. And we are allowing them to grow in leaps and bounds. Look at the electronic shops. Who own them? And we are going to talk about Black History Month and positioning Black people and recognizing our sufferations according to the Rastaman. But we are still suffering. We are still being placed in the position. We are the subjects. We allow them to come in. We support them. We enrich them. And they insult us. Look at the shops that they bring in. Who is working in the shops? one black person to show that they would have hired a black person, and all the others, they bring in the Chinese leaps and bounds. But yet still, a Haitian can't get a visa. A black Haitian. Look at the situation in Haiti. And we can't be our black brothers' keepers. But the Chinese can come in and bring in prisoners to work on buildings. And our black people are in the same position as we were in 400 years. We are still being dictated to. We don't wear the shackles, and I tell people that I was the least. But our mindsets, we are still mentally enslaved. We still look up to these people to place us. That is where we are still. Every time a position becomes available, they look outside of the box. And our mentality is such that we always suffer from inferiority complexes. If there's a position, a big position to be had in St. Kitts, we look for foreigners to fill those positions. As long as your color is a little shade darker than white, you're in a better position. And that is one of the big problems that I have. The Chinese are boasting, yeah. Our children are born here. They have rights. And that's what they do. And we are allowing it. And we, with our hypocritical self, recognizing Black History Month, celebrating our freedom from what? From who? From cutting cane and sugar is obsolete here in St. Kitts. So what are we celebrating then? What are we teaching our children? These are the things that we have to change first. Black History Month is celebrated in America, where the majority of people were white, and black people feel like they have to have a say. They now are able to have a say. They have the privilege of voting for a president. And that is where Black history is celebrated, not in St. Kitts and Nevis. We are black people, our island is predominantly black people living in St. Kitts. But we are changing that. We are changing that. Our best lands are sold to white people. Prime lands are sold to white people. We are still working for the white man. I'm an entrepreneur, and it's the difficulties of going to the bank and getting a loan. Because they look down on you and cast their eyes and turn up their nose and think that, yeah, you're a poor man, and that's where you should stay poor. And it's our own people that is doing it to us. And then we question it. And that is why the white man would say it. Who sold us? Who sold black people into slavery? Who collected the handkerchief, the gunpowder, and all the other little cheap things? You come from a country that was talk about natural resources. Diamond is in Africa. And we were sold for handkerchief and gunpowder. And who do we blame? We have to start to look within ourselves. We have to start loving ourselves, loving our color. When you see a black man make it big, who he carries on his arm? A white woman. When a white woman makes it big, when a black woman makes it big, who she carries on her arm? A white man. And that is the big problem that we have today. These are the little things that we have to fix if we really want to celebrate us. If we really want to celebrate emancipation and to show how far we would have come and how emancipated we are, these are the areas that we have to start looking into. Black is not good enough for blacks. And that is a fact. And until we can start, and everybody is looking forward to have that, Black History Month, and they have celebrated for a whole month, it disgusts me. Because what do we do? The things that we should celebrate in St. Kitts and Nevis that we don't. We have to celebrate us. But we can't celebrate us when we're doing the same thing. Start with us, Kittitians. If you can't put your own on a pedestal, then there is a problem. Walk into town. Who shop when you want to buy food in St. Kitts? You have to go to a Jamaican shop. The poor, the ordinary Kittitian with our local food, nobody buying them. You wanted to go to a hairdresser, you have to go to a Spanish. The local hairdressers, they're obsolete. You want to go for a seamstress? Same thing. Tailor? Same thing. Barber? Same thing, Spanish. Or Jamaican. Where are the Kittitians? Where are the Kittitians? Slavery is not just putting somebody in a cane field to work. And that is what we are looking at. And so, because you're not in a cane field working, and somebody over you with a whip, means that you've been free from slavery. And that is one of the big problems. The big businesses in Frigate Bay. Who are they? Asians, Indians. Where are the locals? Where are the locals? And that is one of the big problems that we are having today. Locals are closing down. Why? You ask, and we've been asking the question, how many years ago? All small businesses in St. Kitts. I saw that they had a workshop. And when you look at the handful of people that were there, and the people are turning up because they want to know, how are you going to help us as a government? How are you going to place us again in a position where we can become entrepreneurs and we can basically look after ourselves? Nobody wants that. You invest in people who are going to come in with big money, because who's going to benefit from it? Who? The foreigners are coming in, they're working without proper documents. Why do you hire them? Because you don't want to pay the Social Security? Why do you hire them? Because you're paying them a smaller amount? Why do you hire them? Because you feel like they provide better services? When you want to build houses, who you looking for? Guyanese. It's sad, but this is where we're at. And I don't think that we understand where we are and where we are going. You go to the hospital, you talking to the nurse or the doctor, you can't understand them. They're Cubans or Filipinos. It is sad. It is sad. And we take these things for granted. These little simple things don't make a difference, but this is what makes the big difference. We have to start looking within ourselves, loving ourselves, embracing our own, positioning our own. Because trust me, Kittitians want too much money and they're too lazy. They ain't gonna do no work. You bring in the foreigners and they want little money and the kind of work at the end of the day that you get. But you, as the contractor, you want big money, but you want to pay small money to those people who doesn't even know what they're doing. It's sad. Locals, you're looking for a place to rent. You can't find affordable houses. Why? Because the houses were built to house foreigners because they're going to pay more money. It's sad. And we overlook these things. We don't realize that these are the little simple things that's going to affect us in the future. This is history. We are making history. And later on, this is what is going to come back to haunt us. We make provisions to house them. We make provisions to make sure that they're comfortable. Poor man can't walk into a bar and buy a drink because the drinks are set, the prices are set for foreigners. Sad. It's very sad. And we overlook these things. And we continue year after year to celebrate Black History Month. But what are we celebrating? What are we really celebrating? The achievements of which Black people? We have to learn to position ourselves, and we have to start to do that now. If you want to be a part of the discussion, the number is 662-0989, 762-0989, or 466-0989. Those are the numbers that you can call if you want to talk about, because I know there are some people who think otherwise and have a reason why Black History Month should be celebrated. And I suppose there are people who are going to read the history book and tell me, and the information off of the internet, and tell me why they think that we should really focus on celebrating Black History Month. Black people have to stop trying to get people to position them, and they have to position themselves. We are strong, everybody knows that. We are intelligent beings, everybody knows that. We are feared, everybody knows that except ourselves. For us, we need somebody to push us. I remember when we were growing up, and we saw white people, because everybody feels that Caucasians are rich by nature. So when you see them, you always run to them. I remember my son, when he was 4 years old, he had an experience. We went to the airport, and he and his little friend was playing around. We didn't even notice what they were doing. And I was having a conversation, and I look up, and I saw this white woman have my child, shaking him, and I'm like, what the? So I ran out, and I asked, what is happening? And she's telling, oh, you should teach your child not to beg. I'm like, what? She said, yes, he's begging. And I'm like, if my son is begging, why are you holding him? And it upsetted me, because I think it's one of the impression that they get of us, that Black people were beggars. He was playing around, and they were trying to see how much money they can collect it, not realizing it was just as fun. And they were asking everybody, and she felt it was necessary to hold her and shake her, but I thought twice, because I knew it was going to be a big blow up. And so I had to ask her, please put my son down, and let me tell you, the next time you put your hand on my child or any Black child, because that is your problem, I would have to deal with you. And of course she said, oh, no. I just think that parents have to teach children stop begging. And I thought America was a place that there were no beggars, and everybody were living in their nice houses. When I got there and I see how many homeless people on the road, again, of course, most of them are Black, on the road, and then they come here and give the impression that America was the Big Apple and everybody should get a bite. And that is why I say that we as Black people have to start positioning ourselves. There are people, I know a lot of Kishishans who would have left here, gone to America, and they're working in home care, where they're looking after the elderly. They're living, as a matter of fact. They're treated like Black slaves, but they prefer to go to America to do that than coming to St. Kitts and say, let me see if I can open a little thing of myself and have a daycare for the elderly and send them back to but provide that. No, it's easy for them to go to America and be subjected to all of the kind of treatment that we talk about now, that we were exposed to 400 years ago. And they are happy to go to America to do the same thing. I know there are people who would have left here who work in laundromats and restaurants, cleaning bathrooms. And when I say, why don't you come back home and try to see? There are lots of things that you can do here. No, I ain't cleaning nobody home toilet. But yet still you're going to go out there and you're going to do it for white people. And that is the mentality of black people, which is very sad. But you see, I'm an individual, huh? I am an individual, strong, black, intelligent, successful, black woman. And that is where we have to position ourselves, because we are all intelligent, black people. We have to rise above. If every time you're going to relive your history, you're going to become a part of it. Because then you get the mentality that we were no better then and we still are no better now. We are going to suffer from that inferiority complex, knowing or feeling that they are better than us. And that is one of the problems that I have. Every time we celebrate these moments, this time, we put ourselves back into that position where we would relive it and become it and continue to be it, because we feel like we are no better now. That is one of the problems. Why I wouldn't I never did deck my children out in African attire to celebrate Black History Month. And we are doing the same thing. And the sad thing about it is we are doing it to our own. But that's what happened in slavery. It was the black man who sold the black man into slavery. As a matter of fact, slavery was being practiced long before, even in Jesus' time. That was a problem that Moses had. These are the things that you saw then, where black people were treated terribly. They were enslaved long before the Caribbean slave trade. Long before. And so it was from the beginning that we as black people were treated as though we were inferior to the lighter skin, lighter complexion. And you know why we can celebrate still up to 400 years after those thousands of years? Because we kept that same mentality that we are just not good enough. And our own people has that same mentality. When you look at Africa and we see how rich in natural resources that Africa is, and we still see that Africans are looked down on as primitive, poor, inferior. And the white man goes and the Chinese goes to Africa. And they store, we can take a call, yeah. We have a call. Let's go to the lines and take this call. Caller, you're live on Your Views. Hello, good morning.
Greetings.
Good morning. Greetings to
Hello?
you. Greetings to you too, sir.
Yeah, man, blessed love.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you're talking about African history today.
Everything. African, black, and where we are positioned as black people.
Surely, if you black people, we ain't really black people, you know. We are African people. You know? The color of the skin, you know. I remember I got Indians who very dark skin, same way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not Africans, you know. African with a woolly hair. You know what I mean? Kinky hair. You know what I mean? So the people who do all the greatness in the earth, build the pyramids and map out the whole heavens, everything. It's really woolly hair people, you know?
Yeah.
Where we try, you know what I mean, through how they have things set to their social engineer today. They try to displace us, and replace us with a kind of looking breed, you know what I mean? But African people, Kincaid people. Now you see, what you see Africans now really forward, how we supposed to forward, is the system that has,
We still.
in a system that was set in the earth by the people who colonize the earth. Colonize the people of the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we can continue to do things in that system, we can be doing it with the disadvantage, make it set to give us an advantage. You understand? So
And that's the whole
we
thing.
have to know, huh?
That's exactly what I'm saying. We have to position ourselves. We are still waiting to be positioned. You talk
Yeah,
about.
but we the hard people still, because we days away for us, but we are not open to it. We still want what the Europe man shows. We still want what the Chinese man got. You understand? We don't want what we have, because we have Rastafari. Rastafari is the whole world, the whole thing. Who got eyes to see would see it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you check out in the Bible, right, where Christ said the kingdom of God
Is within
won't
you.
come with no fanfare, basically, It's a changing of your mindset, and you're going to see everything in a different light, totally different light.
Because he said the kingdom of God is in you. And it shows that for us, the black people, we are the ones who have to have the understanding that the power of God lies within us. We are the powerful
but
ones.
regard them. We need to just have the outlook of an African. We do not have the outlook of an African. We have the outlook of the European. That is why we keep on going forward to the European things all the while.
So what does the outlook? What does the outlook of the African look like?
It's Rastafari. The African way is Rasta way, which is nature's way. We understand the laws of creation, the laws of nature, and abide within them. You see, and when we understand that, because I'm trying to share, that is how Africans were able to move stone, weighing tons up the mountain there and make the pyramid there.
Yeah, but it was those same strong Africans that find their way down to the middle passage in here into the Caribbean and America as slaves.
And it's sad.
It's very
right?
sad.
It's sad because it's things will happen amongst ourselves where we really get fight amongst ourselves then. So you realize fighting amongst yourself don't lead to no good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We have to start unite within ourselves, and Rastafari is the way to do that. I talk about, see, the beautiful system, a money system and all of this, economic system and you know what I mean? And they come with the science and technology and all of them things that capture our heart. And we feel like these are the best things under the sun. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't got no technology to move no big stone up no mountain today. We had the technology long time. Just to show technology is in some gadget in your hand.
Exactly.
See? And that is what they're selling us. Everything for us is outside. When nothing for you is outside of you. Everything
it's
for a man
you.
is inside of the man.
Exactly.
See? And that is the African way.
What we see outside is an expression of our soul. And people don't understand that. It's the
illusion is why you see outside.
Yeah, it's an illusion.
See? So that is why we have to forward and to our way, which is the Rasta way. The only true way, really and truly, because all the other paths are going to lead us to destruction. See, right now, war threatening, nuclear war threatening the whole world today. See? With all the knowledge and education, these man they can't figure out, say, well, if you bust nuclear bomb, everybody are going to perish.
See, and then black man would never get a chance to prove how good and how great he is.
Yeah, but I can't stop black man victory still, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, when are we going to become victorious, though? The African in us?
We unaware because if you look at the development, the changes, the progress making in Africa and the continent, because the mind shift is taking place,
But you see let me ask you a question. You see who's going to Africa? You see who's going to Africa? You see who's going to Africa?
What?
Do you see who's going to? Do you see who's going to Africa?
Yeah, different races of people.
The Chinese again. The white man is going there. Yeah. So the progress in Africa is not us who's going to benefit. The Africans are soon going to be displaced.
The Africans don't soon be displaced. I
Yeah.
don't believe that. I
Okay,
don't think so.
let's wait and see.
We done were displaced already. If anything, like, we can come back to replace. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of hard knocks we can get out here. We ain't replaced, you know.
Okay, well, this
understand?
is what
Yeah,
I'm...
because it ain't designed for us to prosper. This world ain't designed for us to prosper. Hey, you hear about the organization named the World Economic Forum?
Mm-hmm.
You know what the organization do? Right? Basically, it's about plan the agenda for the governments, the world.
But this
right?
is where we're going with the one world order. It's coming out. It just come. Everything is coming. Everything is coming.
Yeah, but they're coming from the European perspective.
Exactly.
It's not the African idea. That
Of course not.
Africa got their own idea where they bring forward.
Which is it? What is it? What is the Africans' idea?
Well, to do things for themselves, you know what I mean, use their own resources to better the conditions, the living conditions, and, you know what I mean, like equality, for, you know what I mean, the real life for mankind. You know what I mean? So, but you know, you don't get a pushback because you're coming up against an established system already.
Yeah, a system
You know
that
what
is
I mean?
taking over
So that
most
is
of
why
the
the education are weak, huh?
A system that feels that if it cannot operate the way they want to, they destroy the entire human race.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But they're not going to let them to do that, you know?
Yeah, cool. Let's wait and see.
But we have to educate ourselves with Rastaman knowledge and look forward to Africa and don't give up the fight. See?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
I give thanks for that reason. Man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for your contribution. It's enlightenment.
Yeah.
It's,
Bless.
yeah, same to you. That's what we see and we hear when we have different people who have the different ideologies. See, the Rastaman feel like that's it. They feel that, but it is true. I've always said that though. Rastafarianism, if they can have a good understanding of really the whole, the movement that they're pushing, and how the humility, how how humble the movement is, and what they're trying to push. That it is true. The kingdom of God is within you. The great I am resides within you. When you ask, you always, when you refer to yourself, you refer to yourself as I am. And why are we afraid to say that we are the I am? And that is one of the reasons why we're gonna always be in the position that we're in. Let's go back to the phone lines and take a call. Caller, you're live on your views. Hello?
Yes, greetings, Serene Highness.
Greetings to you,
How about
sir.
that?
I'm great.
Give thanks. Okay, I was listening, the reason I just turned on the radio and listening the reason with you on the bridge and give thanks to the sharing. You know, we heard the sound Rastafari. It's no complication, you know, and it's just a simple way of living, and it is Rastafari is simply the original way of living. We call it ancient liberty. It is just that. Live as we were living from creation. Simply that. There's some biblical connection with it, such as, the Bible talks about how one eat, what is the original meat, etc., because liberty is the original Bible. Everything comes from the word, comes from the living, It is simple that. It is just for, and we heard the sound about us being taken away, middle classes, etc. But the thing is, the sad thing is, the flexing that causes us to be taken away is still amongst us.
Yep.
And it is amongst us because we are not truly embracing the original way of living.
Exactly.
The original way of living, ancient liberty. The conflicts that cause us to be divided, that cause us to be taken away, and all the other ism that goes along with it. It is a breaking away from the original way of living. The original way of living. And we can truly attain that if we acknowledge that we have broken away. We are not doomed, you know. We're not a doomed people. As a matter of fact, mankind is not doomed because of us, the original human. We are not kind of man. We are the original man, woman. Mankind can gain salvation. A remnant from every nation can gain salvation once we, as the original people in the earth, return to that original way of living. Simply that, you know. And it can be attained. We just need to step forward individually, then collectively, and live that live.
Yeah,
the original live.
I think we have to start looking within ourselves and recognizing where it resides. It's within us, and start to embrace the fact that we are who we are. And until we can have an understanding of who we are as a black man, or black person, an African, according to Rastafarians, it's just understanding that our strength is within us.
Truly.
And we don't have to look outside of us, and we were strong then, and we can continue to be strong now.
You're so right, Serene Highness. And then, you know, talking about within and without, you know, His Imperial Majesty, you know, even said to the point that it will reach a point where the color of skin is of no significance. Even though we are talking about race consciousness at this point in time, it have to reach the point because it is all embracing to humanity. Humanity have to reach to this point. And when humanity reach to this point, the color of the skin will be of no significance. We want to leave with a punchline. It's not a pretty, nice, sweet punchline, but it's a truthful punchline. Black as ebony or tar, brown as golden bullion bar, still not shining as a bright star. Oh, the reason is near, not far. You don't know who you are.
Exactly.
Give thanks.
Thank you. I like the last part. Definitely we don't know who we are. And until we can understand who we are and identify where our true strength lies, then we are going to forever be in the position that we're in. I mean, I like what the caller would have said just a while ago, where sooner or later, it's not, we have to start looking at ourselves as human beings. The color of skin, when we start to differentiate and start to put, descriptions to things, it's what makes the difference. If you have black and you have white, you're going to have oppression. When orange comes in and yellow and green, it's everybody wants to dominate. And so when you start to see things that are different, you're going to have a problem, because everything that is different, something has to be positioned. And when you start fighting for position, that is one of the reasons why we have problems. If you look at everyone as being the same and equal, then that is when we are going to start to embrace the fact that all of us are powerful and all of us are equal, and they would set, it's not a level, the playing field automatically become levels. And one of the reasons why I talk about see who's taking over, because they look at us as different people. Black people have the stigma of being we are inferior to all of these other people. Why? I've always asked myself that question since I was a child. Why are we hunted down? Why are we placed in the positions that we're put in? Why are we the ones who are creating, but we are never the ones who face is out there? It's always represented by somebody else. We do the hard work and others get the praise. Why? And we allow that because we are always looking outside and not within us. The power lies within us. And until we could understand that, we are going to find ourselves in the position, or continue to find ourselves in the position that we're in. And history would always be the same, just like it was 400 years ago. We are still fighting for our freedom and will continue to do so until we can recognize that we are free. And I think that is one of the problems that we have, is that we have not yet recognized that we are free. The theme for this year's Black History Month is Black Resistance. And we are always having to do that, resist, fight, and stand up and step out and recognize who we are. Why do we have to always do that? Because of where we position ourselves. If we position ourselves in a group or below, we'll have to always fight to get to the top. If you're on the top, then you don't have to fight to go anywhere. And I think until we can recognize that as Black people, that we are no less than, as a matter of fact, if you want to position yourself, you position yourself greater than. Our bodies can withstood the test of any times. And that is one of the reasons. That is what shows you that physically we are stronger than them. Mentally we are stronger. But I don't seem to understand why we are too humble people. And I think people are looking at our humility as the fact that we are weak. We have to stand up and stand out. People can see a Black man coming from a distance, but we always see ourselves in the distance. No, we have to change that mentality. The power lies within you. You just have to recognize and understand and appreciate and accept the fact of who you are. You are strong. You are Black. You are powerful. You are successful. You are rulers and not followers. And until we have that understanding, we are going to forever fight for our freedom, because we are free. But why can't we accept the fact that we are free? Why are we recognizing and going back in the past, still looking at ourselves as slaves who were chained? And no, I was never in bondage. I don't even know how to relate to that. But we still do that. Every time we have these celebrations, we talk about that slavery mentality. We hold on to that mentality that we were slaves. We were never slaves. If I was in those times, slavery would have never happened. And we have to see us for who we are. But at the end of the day, we have to appreciate who we are. We have to help our kind, making sure we're not looking for a level playing field. We dictate what game is played on the field. And that is who we are supposed to be. And it's for the politicians who take up positions. We put them in position, and what do they do to us? They bring in more, and they bring in more, and they bring in more, and they position them. Because when you bring them in, you got to give them a position. You are here, you have to fight for a position. And until we can recognize who we are, we will always celebrate. Another 400 years from now, we are still going to speak about the position of the Black man. Or Black young men in America, people shoot them down like they're animals. Every time a Black man walks in, he's looked at as trouble. Something is going to happen. And we allow ourselves still to be placed in that position. Why? Because we subject our own and we elevate the other. I don't care what anybody talk about. Oh, racism is a reality. It should not be, but it is a reality. People look at you, oh, Sandra, you're racist. No, I am a defender of my kind. Because at the end of the day, in their minds, they know what and how they look at us. And in my mind, I know how I look at me. I am powerful. I am strong. I am a Black woman. And that's what it is. And I'm not looking for equality. Because I don't know what they amount to. I don't know what their values are. I am positioning myself. I know who I am. I know how I value myself. And I understand that the power lies within me, and I know how powerful I am. I don't know them. So I am not trying to be equal to anybody. I know my position and I understand my values. Black History Month continues until the 1st of March. And I would want, my message to us as Black people is that we have to recognize that for us here, we were never enslaved. History is it's going to always repeat itself if we continue to hold on to the mentality that we were slaves or children of slaves. I am not. And until we can accept the fact that we are powerful and the power lies within us, and we can appreciate that and understand that we are identified as the I am. Every time you refer to yourself, you refer to yourself as I am. It means that the great I am lies within you. It's Friday, one of those days again. Them times are on 4th Street. Still waiting to sample some of the food that I can talk about honestly, but I'm going away. I'm talking about what people would have said to me. So listening to some of the testimonials, ooh, the wings. They have the perfect touch of spice. They say it's spicy. When you inhale, those who spice lovers, they say it clears up your nostrils. So if you one of those COVID patients, go to them times, get some spicy wings, clears up your nostril, get rid of the phlegm and mucus, and you're good again. It's located on 4th Street on Fridays. You can't miss it. I am going to push it because it's one of our locals. It's surrounded by Jamaicans and all kind of others. And so we have to start patronizing our own. So for those of you who want lunch, he serves lunch. He's there for dinner. And if you want to party, relax, you can go to Them Times Bar and enjoy your times at Them Times. It was a pleasure being here. My name is Sandra Quilly Atherton. I'm going to say to you guys, there are lots of things happening in St. Kitts. I don't want to do drama, and that's one of the reasons why I decided I'm not going to talk about it. We have to realize that we are failing. We are failing ourselves. We have to start to spend some time, have forums where we're going to discuss positive things and create positive environments. And when you create positive environment, you're going to have positive results. And that's basically what it is. So it's Friday. Make sure that your thoughts are positive and your actions are positive. And at the end of the day, we would all live in unity, and Black History Month would be a thing of the past, and we'll start making history where Black people are positioning themselves exactly where they belong. It is a beautiful Friday. It was a beautiful time spent with you. I look forward to doing this again next Friday. Stay tuned to WINN FM 98.9. Voices is up next.